Hey everyone, I'm Ian Douglas, the author of the website techinterview.guide. I do live streams every Sunday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern about topics relevant to interview preparation for the tech industry. I occasionally record longer Q&A sessions, and I've started to break those into smaller videos to post. And there'll be information at the end of this video about how to get in contact with me if you have additional questions. Let's get to it. That's where I would go with that. Getting down to the last couple of questions here, which is good for timing. I just started a software engineering job at a good startup with good pay and benefits, but then I got invited to the final on-site Google interview. Should I cancel my interview with Google? Well, depends on what you want for your career. If you've already started a job, walking away from that job is going to burn a lot of bridges, and it's going to put that startup in a bad position because it's expensive to hire somebody. It's expensive to go through that process. It's expensive to, source candidates or find people for the role, screen them, do phone calls with them, especially if it's a startup. It's probably engineering management taking time out of their day from things that they should rather be doing in order to interview you for that role. And if you tell them a week later, like, sorry, I'm actually going to go take this other job, that would be a bad thing. I would say, if you've already started the job and you really want to do the Google interview, I'd say you could probably still do the interview. You may just have to figure out, how do you ask a brand new employer for time off really early in your job? Tell them you got a dentist appointment, you're going to be out for the afternoon or something like that. But figure out a way to get some time off to actually go do the interview if that's super important to you. I think there's a bit of a misconception in our industry that, working for a FAANG company is like the epitome of a career. Like, you can't get better than that. And I used to be one of those people. I used to want to go work at a FAANG level company. And the longer I've been in the industry and the more that I've kind of watched what those FAANG companies are doing, the more I don't want to work for a FAANG company. That's just my personal preference, though. Not everybody feels that way. I would say if you've started a job and someone else comes in with another offer, that's a different scenario. This question was specifically asking, I've started a job and then I got invited to a final on-site interview at Google. Well, if you've made it to the final on-site, you've gone through a lot of their process, and that's actually a good signal from Google that they want to go to that final interview stage with you. Again, I would say, take the time off and go do the interview, see what happens, see what works out. If they give you an offer, you got to talk to your boss and say, hey, I got this other offer from Google. It just came in. I wasn't expecting to finish it. That's why I took the job here, but I've got this other opportunity. If you're still new enough at the company, it's probably not hurting them too much from a point of investing knowledge into you. But again, it depends. Has it been a week? Has it been a month or 6 months? If it's been more than a month, they've probably shared a lot of information with you, and they're going to be a little bit worried about, now we just wasted a month. We could have hired someone else and been a month farther along with someone else. And so it does burn a bridge, and that is something that you're going to kind of have sort of on, not on a record, because we don't really keep the idea of a criminal record in our industry, but I think your reputation can precede you. And in startup world, a lot of startups talk to each other. They help each other out. And so later on, if you decide you don't want that job at Google after all, and you start to get back into the startup world, just bear in mind that they may share notes about you and go, I think I remember your name. Didn't you work at so-and-so for a week? And now you got to be honest about what happened. And so just know that those kinds of things can come back and haunt you. My shortest job was 4 hours long. I took a job, I got into the job, I started filling out all the HR paperwork, and about 11 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call with another offer that at a company that I wanted more. And so I talked to the boss. I'm like, hey, all I've done so far is HR paperwork, so I'm out. And I left. And I regretted it in so much that a friend of mine referred me for the job, and they basically hired me with almost no technical interview whatsoever. And it reflected really badly on him for a long time, because this guy put his name on my application. Basically, like, he trusted that I was going to be a good applicant, do a good job, I was going to be a good developer on the team, and then I bail like 4 hours into the job. And that's not a good look. So I regretted it more for my relationship with him as a friend and as a colleague in the industry. And I actually avoided him for like a decade after that because I felt so bad. But once we reconnected, I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry about what happened with that job. He's like, no, actually, you like dodged a bullet on that one, because like within a year, the company went downhill or something. And he started relaying about like how he ended up not liking it there himself, and he ended up leaving too. So it was no big deal in the end, but yeah, it was still awkward. So, I mean, to kind of circle back on this, should you cancel the interview with Google? It's really up to you what you want to do with your career. If you feel like, you know what, I've already started this job, I'm just going to stick it out here for a year and then I'm going to go back to Google. You may be able to shortcut the process again later. You might not. You might have to go through the whole process again at Google. But the fact that you made it to the final round, they're going to have notes on all of that. So when you do apply later on, they're going to say, oh, this person actually did really well in the interview process last time. They may fast track it a little bit. You never know. So it's really up to you with what you want to do with your career there. Hey, thanks for watching. I love helping people out with interview prep, and I hope this video helped you in some way. If you found this Q&A useful, please consider subscribing. You can follow me on Twitch as well for the live stream twice a week. Check out techinterview.guide/streaming for more information. I also have a daily email series that you can subscribe to on the website. There are never any ads, and when you finish the series, I scrub your information out of my database permanently. Finally, if you have a question that you'd like answered on the stream, you can find my contact info on techinterview.guide. I prefer LinkedIn or email. If you leave your question in a YouTube comment, it might take me longer to find it, but I'll see you next time.